we were on when Flint was here. And Tom Dillehay, who found Monteverde, who excavated Monteverde in South America and realized that it was plus 14,000 years old and therefore a lot older than what was then accepted as the model for the first peoples in North America. When he put that idea forward, he was eviscerated by his colleagues in archaeology. It took them a decade to come round to accepting that actually he was right. And there are many other sites in South America going back 30+ thousand years. They're all controversial because they conflict with an existing model. But I think instead of clinging on to existing models, I think it's one of the problems with archaeology, is this territoriality, this kind of control of the past. I think instead of doing that, it would be nicer if archaeology was a little bit more welcoming, a little bit more open to new and different ideas.
Unfortunately, that's just the thing when people are supposed experts in a subject and someone comes along that's also been studying it, but from an untraditional perspective.
Yeah.
People reject that.
I've come to the point, and I'm going to say some strong words here.
Get crazy, Graham Hancock.
I've come to the point where I believe that some archaeologists, not all of them, this problem is with a small number of archaeologists, but they're extremely vocal. I think what we're looking at is a kind of abuse of power. Archaeologists have a power. They are the official spokespeople for the past, and they use that power to slap down any point of view that doesn't agree with theirs. So I think that there's an abuse of power there, and at the same time, there's not a realization that that's happening, because the mindset that drives it is the feeling that members of the general public are unable to decide things for themselves. This is the arrogance of archaeology, that they feel that they have to tell people what to think about the past, and they underestimate the intelligence of the public and the ability of the public to discern, to make choices between different possibilities about the past. They think that archaeologists seem to think that only one possibility of the past must be considered by the general public, and that's their possibility. And it reminds me a lot of the heresy hunters back in the 16th century. You know, the people who disagreed with their point of view got burned at the stake. Well, you don't get burned at the stake today, but you can get lynched by a mob of archaeologists.
Well, it's also
online.
The same thing that we saw during COVID with medical experts that disagreed with the narrative. It's the same thing.
It is absolutely the same thing.
When you take esteemed professors and doctors and physicians and you cast them into this kook label because they disagree with the narrative that the medical establishment is pushing, and then they turn out to be correct, which most of them did, you see the same patterns. It's just power. Yeah. It's just power and people that have their identity wrapped up in them being the ones that have access to the actual information.
Yeah.
And they don't want it to be distributed by some guy on Netflix.
That's right. It's
even though you've been probably studying it more than them.
Well,
and certainly studying particular aspects of it.
That's the other thing.